Hey friends, I'm Robin. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am filming another TBR video. Hi, I'm Robin. I love TBRs. I feel like sometimes I'm the only person other than Kayla on BookTube that isn't a mood reader. I need TBRs all the time. If I don't have a TBR, I don't know what to pick up next, and I just don't read anything. So I need TBRs for everything. So I tend to create monthly TBRs, weekly TBRs, seasonal TBRs, yearly TBRs. Just really love TBRs. I am going to do just like I did for winter. If you didn't see winters, I will leave my TBR up in the cards. I'm going to share 10 books that I want to read this spring. There is no real rhyme or reason for why these books are on this list. They either recently came out and I'm really excited about them. I have arcs for them. They're series continuations, things like that. It's just books that I'm really excited to get to that I plan to read in the next couple of months. Without further ado, let's get right into the TBR. So in no particular order, I just kind of listed these out. I plan to get to The Long Game by Rachel Reed. This is the follow-up to Heated Rivalry. This is a hockey romance. And in this, we are following Shane and Isla, and they had their happily for now at the end of Heated Rivalry, and I believe this skips like 10 years into the future or 5 years. I can't remember exactly. It skips into the future a little bit, and they are still hiding their romance because they are both professional hockey players and they want to keep their career about their career instead of their relationship. One of them is kind of like antsy to share their relationship with the world and go public and be able to just like live their lives, and the other one isn't quite ready for that step yet, and I believe it is them working through that. So I loved the Heated Rivalry, and I know everyone has been like begging for this next book for years, so I'm really excited. I do have an arc of this, so I want to get to it really soon, but I believe it comes out in April, so I'm really excited for it. After that is I Kissed Sarah Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. I adore Casey McQuiston. I read everything that they write, and this is their first YA story, and this is like a YA romance mystery-esque story. I don't know how prevalent the mystery is going to be, but I believe in this that there is our main character gets this like random kiss from Sarah Wheeler, and then Sarah disappears, and she like teams up with two other people who have also kissed Sarah, and the three of them are going to try to find her and figure out like where she disappeared to, why she kissed all three of these people. Like I said, I don't know how prevalent the mystery is. I don't know if there's going to be like a romance between some of the like three people finding Sarah. I don't know if it's going to be a relationship with Sarah, but I trust Casey McQuiston, so whatever this book is about, I'm sure it's going to be wonderful, and I'm excited to see their take on YA. After that is a book that I think I've already put on a couple of TBRs, and that is The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. This is Katie Robert's first monster romance. In this, we are following Briar Rose, who is trying to get out of a marriage, and she makes a deal with a demon, and in order to get out of the marriage, she finds herself on an auction block and she is sold to a dragon. It is the love story between her and this dragon. I believe it's a captor-captive romance. I don't know anything else about it. Katie Roberts books are usually heavy on the steam and low on the plot, so I'm trying to kind of stay away from the synopsis too much because I don't want to know the whole synopsis before going in. So I'm really excited for this one. I will say I've been slightly disappointed by Katie Roberts' most recent books. If you watched one of my reviews, I talked about how much, my winter wrap-up. I'll link my winter wrap-up here too. I talk about how much I hated Electric Idol. So I will say I'm going into this with lower expectations. But I am excited to see Katie Roberts' take on monster romances, since that is where I get a lot of my monster romance recs. So this is on the list. After that is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. My copy is finally on its way to me. I ordered the Waterstones like special signed edition, so I am waiting for that to get delivered to me, but shipping, I mean, everywhere is super slow. So this is a YA story. In this, we are following a house that is like on the line between life and death. The synopsis of this I find very confusing, and I'm so excited to read this book. It is one of my most anticipated books of the whole year, but I believe the heroine moves back to this house from like her all-girls boarding school, and when she gets there, weird things keep happening in the house, and she somehow crosses this border into like the other side of the house, and now she's like amongst like the spirits and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm really excited to see where V. Schwab takes this story. I'm so excited. This sounds spooky and fantastical and just so good. After that is Cruel and Faded Light by Ashley Shuttleworth, and this is the follow-up to A Dark and Hollow Star. I was not shy about this. This cover is atrocious. It is so ugly and it's painful. But I absolutely loved A Dark and Hollow Star, so I'm really excited for this follow-up. I do think I'm gonna have to reread A Dark and Hollow Star, but I have it on audio, and I think I'm going to listen to this one on audio as well, although I do have an e-arc of it, but this does have a full cast audio, so I do appreciate that. In this, it's a YA urban fae fantasy. I don't want to really go into I don't know what the plot is for the second book because it is a sequel. I'm assuming it's going to take place like right after what happens in book one. In book one, you kind of have this unlikely alliance between fae people. The half fae are being killed and no one is really trying to solve their murders, and so these four teens kind of band together and start to uncover what is happening in the magical world, and it kind of goes from there. There's some mystery elements, there's fantasy elements, and it's all rooted in the real world, which I really appreciate in fantasy. High fantasy can confuse me sometimes, so I'm really excited for this. I hope the ugly cover is not indicative of what is inside of it. Fingers crossed. Next up, I really want to read Headcase by Unley James, which is the next book in the Necessary Evils series. This one is Asa's story, and I'm really interested in getting to this one because Asa is one of the twins in the series, and the two of them are never seen apart. So I'm really curious to see how this romance goes. I don't know anything else about it. Absolutely no idea, but I'm really excited to get one of the twins' stories and continue out the series. But I think the book after this one comes out this spring as well, so we'll see how many of the books in this Necessary Evil series actually get to in spring. It might be more, but Moonstruck is definitely on the list. After that is kind of like a duo, because I don't know which one or both, but it is Game of Retribution and or A Touch of Malice by Scarlett St. Clair. I talked about this in my recent reads video, which I'll link up above. All of the video links for you in the cards today, but I just kind of like have fallen into this series and I can't stop. I'm trying to read them in like order of timeline instead of order of publication, and so technically A Game of Retribution would be the next book in the timeline because that is A Touch of Ruin from Hades' POV, but this doesn't release until the end of May, which is still in spring, but I think I will get A Touch of Malice on audio first because I am on the wait list for that for my library. So depending on when I get these books, if I get an arc of Game of Retribution or something like that, I will read that. If I get Touch of Malice from the library first, I might read that. So I might read one or both of these. I just don't know which one is going to be quite yet. After that is Below Zero by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the third and final book in her like STEM feminist romance audio series, and I have been getting these as audio arcs from Penguin Random House. I'm so excited for this last one because this one takes place in the Arctic. So we're following an aerospace engineer who gets injured and she's at this like remote Arctic station. The only person that's willing to like go and like do a rescue mission is like her sworn enemy. I'm just so excited for this one. I've given the first two 5 stars, and so I think that this one is going to be 5 stars as well. I love everything that Ellie Hazelwood writes, and this one just seems like my perfect book. I'm so excited for it. After that is probably my most anticipated book of the whole year, and that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I was denied for an arc of this through every avenue that I tried. But it comes out this spring and I'm really excited for it. I think it comes out in May. Again, I haven't read the synopsis. I just read Emily Henry's pitch because I don't want to know much going into this. But her pitch is essentially a Hallmark movie if the heroine chose the rich guy instead of the small town guy. That was all I needed to know. That was all I needed to know. I believe the two main characters are like publishers or something. They work in publishing. They're kind of like rivals and they go to this small town and they have a romance. I'm so excited for it. I have never given Emily Henry's romances anything other than 5 stars, so I'm sure this will be no exception. It's going to be beautiful and wonderful, and I can't wait. The final book on this list is All Fired Up by Dylan Newton, and this is a book that I have for review. I really loved Dylan Newton's previous story, How Sweet It Is, and I think this is following a character that we met in that book. I think it's following like the assistant or best friend or something like that. But in this, the two main characters reconnect after a one-night stand. The hero, I think, is helping the heroine fix up her grandma's house. I think that that's what it was. And they agree to like only be friends and like not form a romantic relationship. And obviously feelings happen. I really love the way that Dylan Newton writes her rom-coms. They're sweet and funny and lighthearted, and they're not like too heavy. They're still light, but they aren't like too cheesy and corny. She hits that perfect balance, that perfect note, and I'm really excited for this. Her covers are so cute. This cover's adorable, and I can't wait to get to this. So that is all 10 books for my spring TBR. Let me know what books are on your list. Let me know if you're reading any of these. As always, I love buddy reading, so feel free to message me here or on Instagram if you want to buddy read any of these, and I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye!